Hey guys, it's Adrian. I'm going to be doing another video today. I'm going to hope this one is a little bit better than the last one. The last one was kind of rough. So to wit, I'm starting off with a deck tech. This is my first modern deck ever, Merfolk. Um, so let's just go ahead and go through the list. I like 2 Cavern of Souls. I see a lot of people running 4, but it really helps against combo and control where they can't counter your guys if you don't get the Vial out. 12 islands, that's pretty normal. 4 Mutavaults. They are merfolk, so they do get the island walk and they do get pumped by your lords. Tectonic Edge really punishes greedy mana bases. The only problem with it that I find is that sometimes if I need like double blue to cast a lord and I don't have Vial, it's a problem. Aether Vial is one of the cornerstones of the deck. It lets you flash in creatures instantly and they cannot be countered because you put them into play, not cast them. Curse Catcher, pretty standard 1-drop, helps against combo control, gets in some beats early. Spell Pierce is a new option for me. I was originally running Mana Leak as my counter spells, and I've done Remand before as well, but Spell Pierce, it only costs blue, and it gets a little less relevant late game, but hopefully you can fire that off against an early Liliana or some sort of control card or planeswalker like that. Vapor Snag is blue's soft removal spell. It's one of the best ones. I've tried doing it with just unsummon, but the 1 life is pretty relevant. Kind of sucks if you do it to yourself, but I do like it. It helps speed you up a little. Silvergill, pretty core card. Draws you a card, you reveal a card. If you play it with Aether Vial, you do not have to reveal a Merfolk. Spreading Seas, another good reason to play this deck if you're in a meta with a lot of 3-colored decks, because it can really punish their land bases, especially if they're not an island, so it's really, really relevant against stuff like Zoo. Lord of Atlantis, he's a lord, he pumps guys. Master of the Pearl Trident is his better version because he only pumps your merfolk, so it's sort of like old slivers versus new slivers, but in this case the new one is better. Mara Regiere is also very good. You can basically set up these very long mana combos that let you sort of play your whole hand, because whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you can tap or untap another permanent. So you can untap land, you can tap the blockers, you can untap your Vial, play another Lord. Unfortunately, Vial does not trigger this because you don't actually cast the spell, like I said, you just put it into play. This is a new addition for me. I see a lot of lists running mainboard Dismembers. I think it's to help disrupt Pod. Pod is very popular, as is Affinity, and those are cards you want to bring in against them anyway, because those decks, very heavy on their creatures, and Affinity is just faster, so you really need the removal. And then 4 Master of Waves. I originally split Master of Waves with Thassa, but Master of Waves, even if on an empty board he brings a friend, he brings a 2/1 elemental token, so I do like that. I have 2 Tech Edges on the side for control matchups, greedy mana bases. I have a Graph Diggers for Snapcasters, and stuff that relies on the graveyards. There's a Jund list running around that, that's a lot of retrace. Relic, same sort of deal, but also good against Living End. Swan Song is actually one of my favorite counter spells. You can counter a target instant or enchantment instant or sorcery for just blue, and you put a 2/2 blue bird creature with flying on the battlefield. It's a little more narrow than Spell Pierce. And in some decks, the bird is bad, but in Merfolk, the bird is not a big deal because they're either gonna have to chump with it if they don't control islands, or there's no way they're gonna be able to race you. It's mostly for scape shift. You just destroy their one big spell. Spellskite, I like Spellskite better than Kira, Great Glass Spinner. I know a lot of lists do run Kira. I might switch back to her because she does help a lot with the devotion count. She has 2, but I think Spellskite's a lot better. He goes into more decks. You're almost never going to pay life with the blue here. Tidebinder, good against stuff like Jund and Junk, and then 2 more Dismembers. Basically, the idea of Merfolk is you want to like turn 1 play an island and Vial, or land Vial basically, and then be able to like turn 2 Spreading Seas or hold up counter magic while you flash in your lords, and you still have access to all that mana, Vapor Snag and Dismember. So it's a bunch of cheap control spells to help maintain your board state. All right, let's go into tournament practice. Eventually, I will be doing dailies and 2-mans, so stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and get this show on the road.